Guys of a Certain Age is brought to you by no one. Absolutely no one. Except these dudes walking down memory lane. Now let's head to the studio to see what they misremember next.
It's the podcast that can't seem to find its entire cast. It's Guys of a Certain Age in studio today with
Art Shirley.
And I guess I should have said, and I'm Jay Reed.
And you're Jay Reed, yeah.
Yeah.
You need to go in last.
I'm not used to even leading it.
It's hard to do. It's what I have to do. Yeah. And it feels like we should give Robbie props for that, for having done it for 17 years or however long we're doing this, right?
Yeah, we're like, gosh, I don't think we're quite 350 yet, but
we're close. Maybe we can celebrate that. Huh? You know, we haven't been able to do our celebration of either the number or the anniversary.
I think we're just going to have
lucky enough where we can get all three of us in the studio, and that has not happened.
That's been a minute.
Yeah. We keep talking about Hamilton, going to Hamilton, but we haven't all been together to do that.
Yeah, we haven't had a superhero, I can't even remember the name of it, redeemable, irredeemable, whatever, all that. We haven't done that in a while either because we haven't done together.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're going to stretch a 1-year segment into like 3 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Time is all over.
That's right. And Robbie is on his way to Las Vegas today. He's going to NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters thing, but he goes to, I think he goes every year. Maybe it's every other year.
I feel like it's been every year since I've known him.
I think it's been every year. He may go himself every year, and maybe the rest of his workforce goes every other year. I'm not sure. He'll tell us. We'll find out. And hopefully he's going to do some interviews while he's out there that we'll use from.
Yeah, which in the past have been exciting.
Yeah, good stuff.
So how are you? I'm okay. It took me a minute to get here. You know, there's a lot of people in town this weekend. I guess it's a preview day on campus, and so there's a lot more traffic in town, and
which is a good way to preview it because this is how
that's how it's going to be. That's right.
The parking is, bad, and the traffic flow is bad. So
yeah. So I'm at a point now in my life where my wife is saying, "Have you thought about when you might want to mow?" And So it looks like my afternoon plans may have adjusted.
You may want to get that in before the weather hits.
Yeah. They're talking about big weather, but I've learned over the past few weeks that big weather may or may not show up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to get something done. But how about yourself?
Doing fine. Looking forward to the weekend. Have no real plans, so which is kind of nice. That's not true. We're going to see Murder on the Orient Express. Several community theaters putting that on. We've talked about them before. Our friend Madeline Golden's in there. We'll be talking about her a little bit later. Are y'all going to see it? I'm sure
we're a week from tonight as we record. Yeah, we're going to see it. Not the last performance, but the next.
Yeah, we're tomorrow night. So, and I've heard good things about it already.
Great cast.
Yeah, really.
Good story that I'm familiar with already. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sure everybody's at least seen one of the two movies.
Yeah.
And maybe read the book. I think I've done all three of those. I've seen the 70s movies several times. But I'm still looking forward to it. It's going to be
Paul Ruff is playing Perot.
That's right.
He'll be great.
That'll be really good. Yeah, there's a lot. And again, it's this cast is loaded with a lot of folks that we know. Mm-hmm. So it's always fun. And they're great actors too. So that's really good.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. Yep.
All right, good deal. Well, what Geek of the Week do you have?
Well, we'll start.
I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, this is like that.
Yeah.
This is so overwhelming. I don't know what to do with this because I can't remember what I was even going to.
Wait. I'll go first.
Okay.
To change it. Because you got a lot of geeks. You're pulling to Robbie, the hosting Robbie.
I'm turn into the, I'll fill up the time.
And taking multiple Geeks the week. I guess I'll do, actually I have multiples too.
Okay.
First of all, we want to talk about Richard Chamberlain passed away since we last recorded. Richard Chamberlain, probably most famous as king of the miniseries back in the 70s and 80s. He was on the Thornbirds, Shogun.
That's what I remember.
Thornbird. Yeah. The original Shogun mini-series, and he was in that and played the pilot, Anjin Sun, on that. But and I loved that version of it. It's available somewhere, maybe Paramount or something that we've got that I could go back and rewatch that, but I haven't done that yet. Also known as young Dr. Kildare from the TV series. Yeah. Okay. So he passed away. And then Val Kilmer, which his really known to us for several roles. You and I kind of exchanged what our favorite was, and we both said Doc Holliday for
Absolutely, yeah.
But of course, he had so many great roles. Batman, of course, probably for most of our listeners, say he was the Batman after Michael Keaton, Joel Schumacher's first Batman.
Okay, so who was in that with him?
So
There's the villains in that one.
the villain of that is Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Okay.
And Tommy Lee Jones was Two-Face.
Two-Face, right.
Yeah. And so, which, they didn't keep Billy D. Williams, who would have played Two-Face if it had stayed with Tim Burton's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it also introduced a Robin for the first time.
Okay.
And was that Christopher? Oh, gosh, I can't remember his name. I would look it up.
Yeah.
Out or something like that. But anyway. He's on one of the NCIS.
Yeah.
Or CSI.
Picture him, but
yeah. Anyway, but so he was on that, and of course, let's see, Nicole Kidman was the love interest.
That's right. I own the movie. I just haven't watched.
Yeah, me too. I haven't watched it either. And we talked about going back and watching some Val Kilmer movies. That one, Tombstone, of course, we'll watch.
Both Top Gun movies.
Top Gun movies, yeah. Will's never seen either Top Gun movie.
Wow.
And I said, I don't know about how you're going to feel about the first one, because we watched it before the second one, before we saw the second one. And went, wow, this is really cheesy. But it's fun to watch, and Val Kilmer's performance in it is great. Did you ever see Top Secret?
I feel like I did, but it's been a long time.
It was the movie that
with Leslie... Top Secret was the kind of a spoof, right?
Yeah, it was the follow up that the people behind Airplane made.
Yeah.
It was their movie after Airplane.
Okay,
and it takes place, in World War II era, or really kind of the 50s. It's kind of hard to pin down. He plays a guy that's a little bit like Elvis, and going in there and kind of trying to help thwart the Germans. And it's really and as Airplane is just a very, very lowbrow comedy. Over the top's better way to say it. It's
And what's the actor that was in Airplane, the main one? Leslie
Nielsen. But
in this?
I don't think he's in this. No.
Okay, but the same vibe.
Absolutely the same vibe.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know about it, and or don't seem to remember it, but it's very good. Or it's of that Airplane quality.
Yeah.
They didn't win Oscars for it or whatever. But
and I don't remember. I don't know that I saw The Saint, but
I saw The Saint. The Saint had a lot of unrealized potential. I thought it could have been a great movie. Could have been a good franchise for him if he wanted to do a franchise. Return to that character who's been around for a long time, but kind of a James Bond-ish character. And that's the way they presented it, but it just didn't quite hit, as well. The Doors is another performance. Have you seen that?
I think I have. Yeah,
I saw it. I know. I feel like I've seen it all the way through. I probably haven't seen it since it first came out.
I was really into The Doors for a season.
And one thing I read, and you probably saw this too, is that he learned like 50 Doors songs for his audition.
Oh wow!
And he recorded them, and the surviving members of The Doors. He's playing Jim Morrison in The Doors. The surviving members could not tell if it was a Jim Morrison recording or a Val Kilmer.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Either that or they just, we had no recollection of what the guy sounded like. Yeah, but yeah, so it's sorry to see, he had throat cancer. We saw evidence of that in Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, the fact somehow I read a little bit about that. It just sounded like it was really rough.
Yeah, they had
the pneumonia is what ended up taking.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, but I mean, when you've had that much happen to your body, pneumonia can really wreck you. So.
Okay. And then as a segue into what we'll talk about for the rest of the Geeks, upcoming movies, we're looking at Fantastic Four. This is not footage that has actually leaked online. Just want to make sure we're recording. Has not actually leaked online, but people have seen it. There was some speculation as to whether or not Invisible Woman Sue Storm, played by Vanessa Kirby in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie, was with child. And it turns out that she is, in fact, expecting, according to this footage that people have seen. She talks about, being pregnant. And
which there was speculation because of the dining scene, right?
Yeah, it's something about the way she
walked.
There was a weed. Yeah, there's something in there. So Franklin Richards is the child they have, and he's like one of the most powerful beings in all of Marveldom. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
Anyway, that's not like
but
me watching a trailer that
no,
is
we're
actual.
hoping that people have thought that with Thunderbolts coming up first, they're trying not to put a whole lot of stuff about Fantastic Four out yet and make sure Thunderbolts gets, the recognition it needs to get. And so after that debuts, people will think we'll see a lot of footage and trailers from Fantastic Four to kind of pump that up. So speaking of,
Thunderbolts also had a trailer drop this week.
okay.
And it was just a little bit expanded from what we've seen before. The other thing I saw, you may have seen this, there was like a CinemaCon. And
Yes.
did you see them arrive, the Thunderbolts cast arrive?
Well, I didn't see that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the story, but I'm assuming it has something to do with the movie. Red Guardian has a limousine service.
Okay.
And so they all come in this ginormous red limousine, and he's driving. And they get there, and they have it all filmed, and them getting out of the car like wobbly walking because it was such a rough ride.
Okay.
And then I saw another clip of them coming into the convention, and kind of just making fun of each other, kind of harassing each other as they were coming. So there's lots of stuff out there now.
Yeah.
I mean, those three things.
Uh-huh.
So when does that come out?
It should be soon. Yeah. I don't know if it's the end of this month or in May.
May?
I think it could be May. Yeah. Because we've got Fantastic Four in July, and then Superman. Of course, that's not Marvel, but that's also in July.
Yeah. So that was coming out. I think that's the only other Marvel.
Feels like it's been a while since we've had a Marvel movie.
Yeah, and now we're boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Captain America, and so
Yeah. Well, no, that's right. We did have Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, and I don't hate that because I think the Thunderbolts will be fun.
I think so too.
And I think Fantastic Four will be the sort of the climax.
Yeah.
And all that.
And Becky, who's kind of burnt out on my wife, who's kind of burnt out on superhero movies, I think in general right now. We did go see Captain America, and she was like, I think I'm kind of done for a while. She saw the trailer for Thunderbolts and thought that looked a little fun. I think it's got that Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
not so typical superhero movie,
Right.
but more of a funny kind of misfit superhero type thing. So I think she's interested in that.
It's almost like Suicide Squad.
It's
but
very much like Suicide Squad for the Marvel folks. Yeah.
So and then if you flip to what I was kind of went down the rabbit hole of trailers, and I saw something I thought was an extended teaser trailer about Superman. It turned out to be like a whole 5-minute sneak peek. And I'm going to say, if you said you had not seen it, it's not really much of a spoiler. The original little bit that we saw of Superman and Krypton coming in and taking Crypto, coming in and pulling him away. Well, that's greatly expanded. So trailer spoiler alert. Crypto comes in and like is jumping all over him, like he would just be playing with his owner. And then Superman's going, stop.
Okay.
So and then he drags him to the fortress, and got automatons or Autobots or something there taking care of him. And then after that, it's just more or less the same trailer that we've seen.
Yeah. And those robot characters that you see, that's, from the comic book, they've had different looks over the years. Yeah. It's a later addition to the thing, but they're Kryptonian robots yeah. So they, are there to kind of help with Superman in his Fortress of Solitude as he needs that. But anyway.
So that's out, and then that's probably all the no, the other superhero thing that I wanted to mention, this is a few weeks old, but still cool. Around the time of, we're coming up on Final Four as we record this weekend, but I believe it was maybe when March Madness started, State Farm had a commercial, Batman focused. And so they show the bat signal, and instead of Batman, they get Bateman, which is Jason Bateman. And he has played the part of Jason Bateman to the nines. And it's really hilarious. And what I've read about it, there was a few people, there was a Catwoman was somebody I didn't know, like a singer and all this. And I was like, a lot of speculation that, because Batman does show up in the commercial. Yeah. And it sounds like Will Arnett. So you're kind of thinking this is podcast crew of what do they have?
You mean Bateman's podcast crew?
Some Smartless.
Yes. Okay.
But turns out it's not. It's a guy named Nicholas Hayner, who is a stuntman, and he has an MCU connection. He was a stuntman on Captain America Civil War, I think. One of the Captain America
movies that he had been involved in. I couldn't remember where.
So he's got some connections, but he does, I mean, he didn't do anything but talk, but he sounds good and looks good.
Yeah.
All the costumes are apparently comic accurate.
Yeah.
It's actually well done.
It's one of the, sometimes you'll see a fan film that does that, but typically in the commercial movies, they come up with their own look or their own take on the costume. They're not always comic accurate.
Yeah, so the
Superman, Christopher Reeve was probably the last true comic book accurate. Some of the Spider-Man movies are. Now that I'm thinking about it, there are several. I'll shut up about that. But yeah, so we've got a Joker that looks like the comic book Joker. It really looks good. Poison Ivy's there.
Two-Face.
The Two-Face is there, right? Yeah, one word. It's a long one. Dermurel houses. Yeah, it's a great spot, and I think a lot of people would like to see, and it really expanded. Kind of like a 5-minute spot on it or whatever.
So there's an extended cut, but I don't know how extended it is.
Well, I've seen versions. I've seen a long version of it. I know it's not probably more than a minute, but I've also seen 30-second cuts of it that, like, some don't have the Joker in it and some do or whatever. And I think there's some other celebrity cameos too.
They are
rappers.
I didn't know those.
Yeah, I didn't know those people. Yeah. But yeah, people have talked about, and you can see still shots of the actors, in costume playing those roles. Some people have leaked those out from sets, and they really do look good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's well done. See, Kai Cenat, Jordan the Stallion. I don't know who those are. So, and somebody named Cesar. Yeah. So, and of course, State Farms.
Yeah. Which I thought was Za. I didn't know who that was, but that's what SZA. That's corrected. That's how it says SZA, right?
Yeah.
We are very much of the certain age at this point.
I really don't need to. Yeah. I don't know who it was.
It'll be mine all around.
Yeah. Well, the young people that I work with, they would probably know. So.
Yeah. That's who told me. That's who corrected me right off the bat. SZA or Za, whatever. No, it's SZA. I'm like, well, no, it's not really. But
yeah. Right.
Okay.
So then when I went down the trailer rabbit hole, I found Ballerina.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the John Wick spinoff. Ana de Armas is playing Ballerina. And in the trailer, he shows up.
So he does.
Yeah. Okay. And it's not in the role that I expected because I don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
I think it's more or less.
Have you watched the John Wick movies?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen 4 yet.
I think I have, but I'm not sure. I think I was waiting for it to come out, and I may have overweighted. But I watched one again the other day. Yeah, sitting around with my dad.
They're horribly violent.
Yes,
they're much fun. They're just. I mean, it's almost like a ballet of violence. Yeah. So it's.
Well, I told my dad sitting there, said, "I can't believe I'm so excited about all these people getting killed." But you get wound up.
Yeah, it's such a choreographed thing that it becomes unreal.
So I'm curious. I'm definitely going to want to see it.
Yeah.
But because the bar is so high for me anyway with the John Wick genre, I wonder if it'll meet the bar.
I don't know.
With her. I mean, she's great. I love her, but seeing her in that other movie with Chris Evans, it was kind of a spy movie. I mean, it was good, but I'm having trouble wrapping my head around her really being super violent. So we'll just see. See how it goes.
Because that worked real. Kind of the rom-com violent was fun. I mean, that was a good movie. And then she was also in The Gray Man. I can't remember the name of the movie.
I didn't see that one yet.
Chris Evans. Gray Man. Again, she's in that one. It's very similar kind of thing. A little more serious. I mean, probably much more serious than the rom-com was. It's Ryan Gosling in there with her. And then she also has a brief part in the last James Bond movie. Yeah. And it's one of the best parts of that. But again, even though she's shooting up a lot of folks or beating up a lot of folks, it seems to be kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing almost. Yeah. So
I'll still watch it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of fighting, Karate Kid Legends.
Sweep the leg. Sweep the legend.
Right. So it's going to have it's got Jackie Chan, who I guess was in the modern,
Right.
but it also brings in Ralph Macchio, and they talk about Mr. Miyagi.
Okay.
And he's training someone that's just come over from Japan, I think, and he wants help. So he drags Ralph Macchio across the country.
All right.
To train him in the Miyagi way.
Okay.
So I didn't. Did you watch all of Cobra Kai? I watched a little bit.
Any of Cobra Kai.
I watched a few episodes, and I enjoyed it, but I never finished it. So I'm not fully into it. But this kind of seems like, I mean, it's very formulaic even from the trailer. But
and it seemed like Jackie Chan was he the trainer on the updated version that had Will Smith's son playing the Karate Kid?
Maybe.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. I mean, there were two original Karate Kids, and they did a third one, and I think it wasn't Jennifer Garner.
The girl,
Hilary Swank, played the girl that was trained. I think that's right. Yeah,
it may be.
So
anyway. I knew it was a female.
Yeah, well, those ones sound good.
So lots.
It's a movie though, right?
It's a movie, and I don't know when any of those are coming out, but lots to look forward to. In 2 years from now when I can watch
that's right. When you watch it. Yeah, I feel like we're in that boat too. We still have to talk. Did y'all talk Severance? All right. So we've got up on Severance. All right. Good deal.
Did you finish?
I did. Yeah. Robbie and I did a brief, just kind of my thoughts on it, which were good. I really liked the finale. I thought it was good. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, we finished 0 Day last night. I hadn't watched anything that. It was Robert De Niro on Netflix.
Is that a series?
It's a 6-episode series.
Okay.
And it's basically about somebody comes in and does one of these EMPs. It's not really an EMP, but they shut everything down electronic for like a minute. And, chaos ensues. And they bring in Robert De Niro, the former president, to head up a commission, which is very much kind of Patriot Act oriented. And that, they basically have they can do anything they want to without, getting in trouble as far as torture and that kind of stuff. So, and they bring in some other elements too to make it interesting. So that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, I'll check that out. And it's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
All right, we'll check that out.
0 Day. And like I said, it's only 6 episodes. So they were pretty fast. So
all right,
now we're looking for something new to watch.
Okay. That includes our Geeks of the Week segment. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, a lot of geeks. On the other side, though, we're going to talk about watching something that was not necessarily on the streaming service or on the big silver screen.
And now for something completely different.
Right. But something that we both saw locally, featured one of our friends, and we got to play an active part in it. So we'll see that on the other side of the break.
All right, and we're back, and we're going to move from the movie theater to the local community theater, more or less. And this time, Art and I both saw something on separate nights in his hometown.
Yeah, we were in West Point. Usually, Jay and I both will go see the stuff that's playing in Starville. I have some friends that are involved in those productions.
Right. And one of those friends is how I actually found out about this. Madeline Golden, who's in, quite the star in this community theater.
Could be on Broadway. She's really talented.
Yeah. Sings well, acts well, everything, all the things. So she's been a good friend of our family for a long time. I know you worked with her. And so another mutual friend told my mom, months ago, that he said, we're going to go see this play. It's a Patsy Cline play. Madeline's in it, and we're going. And I think they were going to go in February, and weather knocked it out.
Yeah, it's had some problems with weather. It's originally played in Columbus for a couple of nights, and a lot of people from where I work went to see it. People, fans of Madeline is the text group that we're in. Everybody talks about when she's going to be on stage next. They all went and said it was great. Said it was one of the best things they've ever seen her done, and that's a pretty high bar. So.
And I'd heard good things as well.
But they only got to do it a couple of times. And typically when they do something for Starkville Community Theater, they'll do it over a couple of weeks. Yeah. And so, you're talking about 12 performances, around that. So they wanted to do it more than they'd done it because there's a lot of preparation that went into this thing, obviously. And so West Point asked them if they could, come do it there. They figured out how to do it. And then they've also done it and Tremont,
Right.
and Tammy Wynette
Legacy Center.
Yeah, Legacy Center.
Which is where the girl that played Patsy Cline, Jessica Horton, she sings there with the group, I think the Silver Eagle Band or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Who were also in the play.
And they're the backup band, and they were incredible. Very good grief. Very good.
Yeah, so she sings there regularly, like once a month with them. And I've been up there to see we went to see a Christmas show this past year. And it's a neat little place.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know I want to go there sometime.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tiny.
I'd like to go see her sing again.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I kind of went down a rabbit hole of videos from there.
Yeah,
and I mean, she did so well.
Yes,
and we may be jumping ahead, but I've been a Patsy Cline fan for a long time.
Yeah. And I'm familiar with her. I mean, I'm certainly every time a song would come up, I go, oh, I forgot about the song. Oh, I forgot about that song. There were a couple that I've probably not heard before, but most of them I'd heard. And I think they do about 20 songs or something.
There's a bunch. And when I say I've been a fan for a long time, I love her voice. I probably have her greatest hits album. I'm not somebody that has every bit of her music,
right.
but I really love her voice. The songs just break your heart.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of stuff. And she nailed it.
Yeah, she absolutely did. Just a little bit of how the play is set up. It's called Always Patsy, right?
I think it's Always Patsy Cline.
Always Patsy Cline. Okay. And another friend of ours, you know Patty, right? Patty Archer?
I know her. I know of her. I don't know if we met.
She directed the play. But the play is set up, and it's basically a two-person play. You've got the backing band, which has a little bit of interaction, but for all intents and purposes, it's a two-person play. You have, in this case, Madeline Golden was playing this woman who's a fan, Louise.
Louise, I think.
Yeah, is a fan of Patsy. She hears her first, like on the Arthur Godfrey show.
Right.
Just absolutely, falls in love with her sound, and her voice is incredible. And then you've got Jessica Horton, who's playing Patsy Cline, and a lot of how she performs is she's either supposed to be on the Arthur Godfrey show or she's coming from the Grand Ole Opry or something. So she's performing and she's singing with the band and not interacting with Louise. Louise is talking about, when she saw her, and then it'll go into several songs that Patsy sings, and there'll be something that happens. And
there was a little bit of dialogue.
Yeah, I was going to say there's after a while you get a thing. Patsy Cline ends up coming to Louise's hometown. They go see her at this particular club. She helps make sure that Patsy's getting a really good deal. With the club, and ends up staying with Patsy. And at that point, they actually start talking.
Right.
There's some.
And apparently, that's a true story.
Yeah. That is a true story.
Well, look if you believe Wikipedia. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
She. Also, you see Louise bugging the local radio guy about playing Patsy, all the time. And so she's just a huge fan of Patsy Cline. It reminds me of how your mother is about Madeline Golden herself. Because the Sorry Mrs. Reed we talk about most often, when it's not Jay's wife, is Jay's mother. Jenny Reed, and she's a huge Madeline fan. I mean, and she goes to make sure she sees everything that she's in,
right,
and just loves her. And so Louise feels a lot like this about Patty, So it was just very cool. And they told the story of Patsy's incredibly short life. I think she was 30 when she passed away, which down in a plane crash.
Yeah, she wasn't very old.
Anyway, that's the structure of the story.
And you wonder, gosh, I mean, I'm diverging here, going on, but what would have happened? There's so many, a solid handful of stars who have died in plane crashes.
Oh yeah.
And if you wonder, what would have happened to their careers later.
Yeah.
She had kind of a rough upbringing and a little bit of a rough life.
Yeah.
But just, I mean, the music is amazing. And so when my mom was going, they finally figured out a time and she told me, she said, you really need to try to go. They're going to be doing it in West Point these Friday and Saturday night. So I got on the phone to order tickets and ended up talking to, I think, your cousin.
Yeah, that's right.
And because she pulled off the side of the road to take my credit card.
And did she really?
It was in the car. And I was
funny.
like, is this the Arts Council? She goes, well, yeah, kind of.
Hey,
anyway, so once we started the transaction, she was, by the way, I'm Mark's cousin. I know you and I listen to the podcast.
Yeah. Julie is she's been listening to the podcast forever.
Yeah. So she made it work. I think they had, I don't want to get her into any trouble, but I think she had one seat left, but managed to find 2 for him and my wife. And then she texted me later and was like, hey,
That's the same text I got.
yeah, it's exactly the same text she got, because I called her on Friday about Saturday, and she said, when you come tonight, can you do this thing? And I'm like, I don't think I'm coming tonight. I was thinking, did I order the wrong ticket? And she said, oh, I'm sorry. That's the same text I sent to Art.
Yeah, it was.
You are coming tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And then, so she asked us to dance.
Yeah, there's a scene where they're in a bar or something, whatever she's performing, and Louise goes out and finds somebody in the crowd to dance with.
Right.
And I guess we're not giving anything away by saying that person. Usually they try to find somebody that, is willing to do it so that there's not a lot of stuff. But yeah, so I was that person Friday night, and we have a particular place we seat, which is a pretty good seat, and where that's the perk of the thing. And Jay was that person the third night. I guess we know who the person was. I mean, no, second night. I don't guess we know who did it the third day. You shunned the matinee.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I'll have to ask Julie who that was. But
yeah, for a last minute ticket, I had a pretty doggone good seat.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I told you kind of a little bit when to expect it, because my thing was, I was sitting there the whole time going, is this about to happen? Is this about to happen? And because she'd look out, and I'm thinking, and I think she was trying to figure out where it was, but anyway, whatever it was, I kept thinking, oh, it's about to happen now, and it wouldn't. So it's anyway, that was fun though. And then they turn her mic off, so she's kind of talking you through what to do, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and that is like, did you know you were doing this? Are you okay with this?
Yeah. Yeah. And mine was like, okay, we're just going to do this. And I did something. And she goes, that's a little too fancy. Don't do that.
Yep.
And I said, do I dip you at any time? She goes, no, don't do that. But I was just telling her, because neither one of us are mic'd, I mean, because I wasn't mic'd, but she wasn't. Neither one of us had mics picking us up. I'm saying, this is just incredible, whatever. And said, this is so good. And she's so good. And I didn't know her name at the time, but Jessica was just flawless. I mean, it sounded like you were listening to a record.
100%.
And every song, like I said, song after song after song. And it was weird to me, because we'd be sitting there and, Louise would be having a scene and she'd be talking about something, and Patsy was either on the jukebox or on the radio, whatever. Well, she sang it full out. I mean, she was singing as if she was performing. There wasn't any kind of like, half singing or whatever, so she wouldn't compete with. She was singing it full out. And so that was really, that was neat it's just incredible to hear her play. And the band, of course, was so tight and so good. And they had some interactions with them too. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I love a good slide guitar.
Yeah.
That's not the right word, is it?
No, it's a steel guitar.
Steel guitar, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But he uses a slide on the steel guitar.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, and you don't see that very much.
No, it's always been a country staple of stuff, but you don't see bands playing it. My son plays one. My son Will plays. Really? He played one. He used to play. He could get the same sound with like a Telecaster and a slide, and he'd put it in his lap as if it were a pedal steel guitar. And he had this pedal that would make it sound more like the sound that a steel guitar has, and it was really cool sound. And then he ended up buying a small pedal steel guitar, and so he plays that. Okay. And so it's a cool thing because it's such a distinct sound. It really is good. But yeah, it worked perfectly in there. Like I said, this audio mix was really good. I was kind of worried about that because the Arts Council place is a smaller building, and I was afraid that the audio mix would not be good, but it's perfect. It was really good. And so, of course, and she sounded great. So that was really, the whole thing was just a lot of fun and just kind of an awe-inspiring performance by her. And of course, Madeline did a great job.
Yeah.
I did hear, maybe my cousin told me this, but when they first started doing the thing, Madeline, was just reading lines or whatever. They're kind of doing read-throughs or whatever. And Jessica was a little worried that she wasn't. She goes, oh, this isn't going to work. This is going to work. And as soon as Madeline got on stage, the performance hit, and Madeline becomes this character. She becomes Louise, and she went, oh, this is going to work. Yeah, and it did. It worked beautifully. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So that's something else.
Yeah, I mean, she was. I think. Who knows what Louise really looked or sounded like, of course, but she made it real.
So funny. She was doing that walk or that little dance across the stage every once in a while. It was so funny.
Yeah, there was one time I think I was listening to Jessica sing, or I was kind of looking around at something, and Madeline turned around and said something and looked at me, and it had something to do with, I don't know if you remember this part, because it referred back to the dance a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, she's talking to me.
Yeah. So, am I supposed to do something?
But I was looking somewhere else. What did I miss?
That's right. Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, this is the first time I've been to anything in West Point, so I was impressed.
Y'all didn't come see me, am I?
I'm sure I had an obligation.
Yeah, I think I remember the obligation was, I really don't want it there. Yeah.
Or was it, I'm already into the wheel? Was it?
That's what it was. Wheel of Fortune. It's a repeat, but I want to see if it comes out the same way.
No, I think we did want to come to that.
No, you did have an obligation.
It was something that prevented me, but right. Yeah, because there was food involved in that one too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That was our whole lure. Yeah, for the thing. But it's fun. It's like I said, I haven't been part of that in a while, other than that play I did a little over a year ago, and it's a neat thing to be a part of. And like I said, I really. I'm a huge fan, not only being in it, but a huge fan of community theater. And I think that, both of us try to go whenever we can.
Yeah, we have some tickets here.
And we'll probably do that again. We didn't do that this year. First time in a while we didn't do it. And there's several that I've missed that I would have liked to have seen. I've gone and seen them individually. I'm going to see Myrtle Orient Express, but there are some that I really wish I had seen this year. And so we'll probably do season tickets again next year.
There was one about the female astronaut. Did you see that one?
No, I wish I'd seen that. Really, I heard that was really good.
Exceptional.
Yeah, that's good.
And the funny thing, I can't remember the girl's name, but the focus of that one was the woman from For All Mankind, the one that was one of the first female astronauts. And we can't remember her actual name, but she became like maybe head of NASA or something later in For All Mankind. And it was her story, her actual story.
Yeah. The For All Mankind female astronaut is a composite of several characters. Okay. So it's not, I don't think it's based on any one character. I think she's a composite of.
The name
was the same?
The name chick, yeah.
Okay.
I wish I could think of her right now, but
I thought she was a composite and they gave her but anyway. So yeah, but there's a documentary, I think it's on Netflix, called Mercury 13 that's about those women that went through that program. So yeah, maybe it's one of the, because they've got, in For All Mankind, they've got the woman that goes on to become president. So maybe she was the one that was a composite character.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Anyway.
Well, just thinking about Patsy Cline and all that, I didn't do a whole lot of research, but
what?
Yeah. But I was thinking how much, like, the big thing now, like Morgan Wallen, and I know he did some dastardly things, throwing something off a roof or something, got in trouble, but he's kind of a big deal. You may remember he was supposed to be up at Ole Miss to do a stadium concert, and maybe had a couple of nights and canceled one of them, so it's a big stink.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's doing stadiums. I mean, big stadiums. And I looked to see, just comparing like Patsy Cline. Patsy Cline didn't have the opportunity.
Right. She was the state war kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he made some big strides, got on the Grand Ole Opry, that kind of thing. But like he had, over the course of his 87 show tour, 3.1 million people come to see him. But of course, compared to Taylor Swift, who was country adjacent, she had 10 million on her tour. But the person who holds the record, I think, unless it's been broken in the last year, the person who holds the record for the largest ticketed concert in U.S. history is George Strait.
I was going to say George Strait, yeah.
Kyle Field in June of 24, 110,905 people.
June of what year?
June of 24.
Yeah, that's what because I remember when it happened.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. Because, I mean, that's what I listen to at work. Well, when they let me. We have a Pandora and account, and so we were listening to stuff. It varies, I'll let my younger techs choose the music. Sometimes it's like Riley Green, whoever that is, and Morgan Wallen and all this stuff. And then, but when I have a choice,
it's George Strait.
It's George Strait radio, or Johnny Cash radio.
Okay.
And the Johnny Cash radio is where I hear Patsy Cline the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Johnny Cash, Marty Robbins, all those guys would, I love that stuff.
Yeah. Marty Robbins. My dad used to sing Marty Robbins songs to us when he was a kid. Yeah. When we were kids, rather. That's it. Yeah.
El Paso.
Yeah. I'm in love with a Mexican girl. Nighttime would find me at Rose's Cantina.
Very good. Yeah. Very good. Yep.
But it's so it's like I said, just when Patsy was super popular, of course, the crowds at these things were nothing like they are now.
Yeah.
And like I said, passed away early. And have you ever seen the Coal Miner's Daughter, the movie with Sister Basic?
I feel like I saw it when it came out.
Patsy Cline's in there because she and Loretta Lynn were incredible friends. And she was very helpful to Loretta Lynn starting out. So you wonder, had she lived, had Patsy lived, what would have happened with Loretta Lynn? Because Loretta Lynn kind of became, I think, one of the first country music superstars, period, but certainly one of the first female country music superstars. I mean, you had a bunch of them. You had Tammy Wynette we talked about and all this stuff. But Loretta, just really kind of, I think, transcended the genre and people, knew her so well.
Yeah. And there was a Patsy Cline movie too.
Patsy Cline with
Jessica Lange.
Yeah. And she was in that. Now, I don't know, in Beverly D'Angelo played her in the Coal Miner's Daughter, and they both did their own singing, Sissy Spacek and Beverly D'Angelo. I don't think that Jessica Lange did, but yeah. So I'd like to see. I haven't seen that movie but once. I've seen Coal Miner's Daughter a couple of times, but I'd like to see that one again as it was going on. But like I said, to me, you are more familiar with actual Patsy Cline recordings, but to me, she sounded just like what I think of when I
absolutely.
Patsy Cline.
I mean, I listened to that greatest hit CD that I got from the record club.
Yeah, I know.
Many times. Yeah, Columbia or BMG. Something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a fun little thing.
Yeah, good. And, Jay and I are available to, do cameos in any community theater things. I don't know that I want to dance again, but.
Yeah. And I need the Run P app to be adjusted.
Yeah,
theater, please.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, I guess we'll say so long. Well, I guess Robbie will be, I don't know if he'll be back with us next time we're together. I guess he'll be back with us next time we're together.
Very confused.
Yeah. I think he's going to record some stuff. We may get together to do some Geeks, but he's going to try to do some interviews out there in Las Vegas. So we'll be hearing what he has to say on that, and we'll talk to y'all next time.
Adios.